Welcome back to Mark Hollop's vlog, everyone. Thanks for joining in on this beautiful Christmassy sort of a day. And I just want to reach out and thank each and every one of you. Now, as we reflect in 2021 it was all about, we look back, and on Christmas here, I just can't help but reach out and say thanks to each and every one of you for the support that I've experienced all year long. It has truly been amazing. And now, as we roll into the new year, and I promise you there's going to be some amazing new content. As you all know, I've been shopping for a new car. There's going to be some great new content on the channel, some fresh content. It's going to be amazing. As well as we'll continue featuring the Jaguar F-Type, because that Jaguar F-Type does truly strike all of the balance. I get the sounds and the feel and the seat of the pants and everything. It just really can't do anything wrong, other than, of course, the cost of maintenance, which a lot of you guys are already probably aware of that. However, the F-Type is going to be around for some time yet. And again, I will be bringing another vehicle into the channel here this year. So you're definitely going to want to stick around. We're really looking at more about life in general. Now, what is a car enthusiast lifestyle all about? It's not going to be just about cars. I really promise you it's going to be more about the lifestyle. And the fact of the matter is, as car enthusiasts, you have passions for certain things. Cars obviously are one of them. But what are some of the other passions that we experience? And I'm going to share some of that. You're going to see some of the things that I enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis. Maybe that involve cars and maybe that don't involve cars, but it's just going to be, me sharing a lot of what the lifestyle is all about. So I do appreciate if you guys do subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. However, for the most part, I would suspect most of you guys that are watching this video probably already have subscribed, and I do appreciate that. So I can't help but thank you enough. Now, with that said, we talk about the passion in the car world. Of course, that has always been one of my big passions, and I've talked about it on numerous videos. What I will say is, as car enthusiasts, do you find yourself, at least this is my take on this now, as a car person, do you find yourself sometimes rambling on about cars, grabbing that magazine about your favorite brand? Remember Porsche? I used to buy every Excellence magazine that would come out. That was the hot magazine for Porsche brand. I'd literally wait for every month, and I'd hustle on down to the bookstore. And actually, I was so excited to go grab that magazine every month so I could read up on the latest items. Now, I truly was a Porsche enthusiast, and that just really sucked me in. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a Porsche or a Jag or a Camaro or, a Ferrari. It doesn't matter. The point is, we have the enthusiasm and we have the lust for the cars. Now, unfortunately, the world is changing, and, we're losing some of that because they're bringing all these vacuum cleaner-like cars to the marketplace. They're changing laws as well to restrict. The population increase is also forcing a lot of improvements and development of public transportation. Roads are getting busier. There's less back roads. And so at the end of the day, it's becoming more and more difficult to really enjoy the automotive experience. But nonetheless, there's always those opportunities. And know this, I will always be looking for that great back road. But besides that, getting into these cars, looking at them, hearing about the latest car, the Maserati MC20, for example. I watched a video here recently with Shmi, who test drove that car, and I was super excited to see the video, and I watched Shmi drive it. And because it's a twin turbo V6 and it's, has a different gearbox than the outgoing Maserati MC12, which everybody had an expectation that it would be similar to the MC12, but in reality, it's really probably only half the car. It doesn't have the aggression dialed in. I mean, the MC12, I had a friend that had one a bunch of years ago, and that car was absolutely ridiculous. Loud, fast, brash. When you followed it on the street, you felt like you're following an F1 car. The car is super wide, massive stage presence. Now, the MC20 isn't quite there. It's more of a GT car, with the smaller engine, similar power numbers, but the gearbox is different and the car doesn't feel to have the same urgency. With that said, it looks amazing and it would make a great street car with a great level of performance. So it's unfortunate that Jaguar shelved their version of the MC20. And Santosh, I know you reached out there a couple weeks ago, and I really do agree that sadly Jaguar has put that on hold. And Jaguar has been copied as well. Ferrari, the deal. They have a car now too that essentially looks, in my opinion, almost identical to an F-Type, but an F-Type just looks a little bit better. I mean, sure, the Ferrari comes at a little bit of a premium price tag, but hey, whatever. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. It's all tit for tat. The point of the matter is, these cars strike the passion. And do you ever find yourself sitting there gassing on about your car, and your significant other sitting there looking at you, glazing over, like, kind of like, oh my God, if I have to hear another second of that, I'm just going to just scream or whatever. Not everybody sadly shares the passion. I talk about that sometimes in other circles that are outside of my car circles, if you will. And I find people sometimes they don't have the same level of enthusiasm. They're much more excited to get into their Toyota Highlander or that new Ford F-150, whatever it is. And those are all great practical vehicles. However, those are utilitarian vehicles, and the passion for the automotive industry doesn't exist in a lot of people. And unfortunately, the more development that goes on into the electrification world and some of these other vehicles that are more utilitarian, the enthusiast is finding that person's gap smaller and smaller to really enjoy their vehicle. Now, with that said, I'm never going to lose the enthusiasm. It's ingrained in me. It's part of my DNA, and I can never let that go. I'll take that truly with me to, my dying days. So as a true car enthusiast, you really know where I'm coming from, and that's, not everybody sees it the same. You can be gassing on, like I said, and people are, like just kind of, yeah, whatever, right? I heard enough of that. That's okay. That's what we're here to talk about, because this essentially is the hub. I'm a believer that it doesn't have to be a Ferrari. It can be, a souped up Honda Civic or an RX-7 twin turbo, or maybe a BMW, M5, or an Audi RS series of car, or maybe it is a Lamborghini, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is it's interesting. It's unique. Maybe it's lower production numbers. Maybe it's fast or looks super stylish. That to me is what's important. It's the character, it's the feel, it's the excitement that you get from the car that truly makes an enthusiast understand why that car even exists. Otherwise, why would anyone buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? Why? But the fact of the matter is, if you've been watching the automotive industry lately, I've been shopping around. As you know, I'm adding another car to the fleet here probably this year. And I've been watching cars, say McLarens and certain Lamborghinis. I'm watching it, thinking, okay, if it sits on the market, then I can pounce and maybe get a better deal. The car goes. McLaren 720, that's one of the hottest cars right now in the market that I'm starting to find them, 2018s, before this whole bubble that we're talking about right now existed, say about 2 years ago. 2018s, we're starting to get down into that $270,000, $260,000 range in Canadian funds. Good luck, you won't find one now for less than $295,000, $300,000 for the same year of 2018. Prices have clearly gone through the roof, and I don't know what it is. The 720s are getting gobbled up like they're candy. I don't know. It's yet other cars, say for example, Aventadors, are not selling as quickly. And I've noticed a lot of Ferraris, the markets are a little chilled on those as well. Been kind of watching the 488 GTBs, for example. And while people are asking a premium dollar always on the used car market for them, they're just not selling. I'm finding the same cars just stay and stay and stay, and they're not really selling. But regardless, suffice it to say, they're all amazing machines. I've been watching the markets, and with some of the cars that are selling quickly, again, as I said, certain McLarens and, even Lamborghini Huracans and, Uruses, and there are certain models that are just getting gobbled up. It's clear to me that the passion for the supercar still exists. The passion for the fun car still exists. There's still lots of YouTubers that get great content. Look at Rob Dahm he's got that RX-7 that he's got how many rotors that he's stacked on top of that. I mean, there's people that are building project cars that are exciting, and there's still lots of popularity around that. So it's not a dying animal by any means. The passion is still there, but unfortunately, when you're not immersed in sometimes in those circles, you find yourself almost talking to a wall, because a lot of people generally don't appreciate the automotive world, like passionate enthusiasts like you and I. But anyway, I just want to talk about that a little bit, because I'm finding that, yeah, it's almost we're becoming outlaws in the sense of, car people, car enthusiasts. Everything is really geared to funnel everybody into a I don't know what, conformity, if you will. Let's conform. And so we can all drive vacuum cleaners, and autonomous vehicles will take us to where we go. We press the button, type in a code or an app, and then our vehicle will take us where we need to go. So that truly takes the enthusiast. That's just a ball buster for automotive enthusiasts, and we'll never fucking get over that shit. So Anyway, at the end of the day, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for following, because truly you guys are enthusiasts. That's pretty clear to me. The F-Type is an enthusiast car, because nobody looking for a practical vehicle is ever going to buy an F-Type. So clearly you're here because you enjoy those cars, as I do. Anyway, I want to stop right there. The point is, please drop a line. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, the whole enthusiast world. Do you find yourself as well surrounded by people that necessarily don't feel the same, have the same interests as you do with the cars? I mean, sadly, it's just the where we're at. But when you do find those people, it's pretty exciting, right? I mean, you get to car clubs, you get those car meets, and hopefully when this whole worldwide nonsense goes away, there will be more car meets again, and we're able to get together again in larger groups and share some of those vehicles. Let me know below. And as well as, if you're not a subscriber, be sure to click right down there. Easy, doesn't cost a dime, and guess what? You can follow a real passionate person's automotive train here. Now, of course, if you want to check out my other channel, Exotic Car Play Place, that's really the practical side of buying cars. Yeah, I talk a lot about, reliability or depreciation. And while it's important to understand that you don't want a car that's a total piece of junk and a dog that's going to be totally unreliable, I'm really more of a balance of, it's really more about the driving experience. And because life's too short to drive boring cars is why we enjoy the drive a little more weighted than the actual reliability. So thanks again, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you in 22. Thanks again. Bye-bye.